quick one.
Any man form if necessary.
And then no. Oh, you good? I ain't seeing it.
I gotta find it out.
Oh yeah. You in there now? Game, right? One more time. Do it. Say that again, Mike.
Detroit cookout might be a good idea.
Oh yeah, because they ain't hard.
This is 12th Shield General Mahayaman of the Israelite School I.S.U.P.K. under commanding General Yohanna. Make sure you get to
I think we live now, aren't we, Sucker? Well, it's playing like I'm live now. We live, I'm on the air. As long as you got it. Yeah, man. As long as you on it, I'm cool. Don't even worry about it. Listen, even when I lifted it up so they can see me, but this ain't no sound. Huh? Okay. Whenever you ready, let me know. Oh yeah, I see Q now. John, I got 16. Wait a minute, I guess. Yeah. Put a little video, bring it up, let them get a chance to get over. Yeah, copyright. And I don't see how it could be. Shock said he disputed it, but it didn't walk. But I don't see how a dash cam video could be copyrighted and considered somebody else's property. Probably the usual somebody called. Huh? They could hear it. Hit the button. Keep going.
That's fine. I'm going to give it a shot. I got it right here. I see 14.
Give it a second. What's up, mighty man? Good to see you. I'm just fucking thug.
Man, I'm some water babies and making holes out of ladies. I know you got me crazy, but see, you must be crazy. It's gonna take more than cars for the amaze me. I seen niggas shoot for the stars for being lazy. Never get their head at the clouds so you don't face me. I guarantee that you will bring it. Remember I said it, no, you can dance. What you saying? I can't win. No, devil, nice try. So until we meet again, I ain't at the God, meet together. I'm just feeling landed in the air. The earth was given to the hands of heaven. Superstitious, but we been getting fucked and put to the side like a mistress. At least control a lot because prison became a business. On the false things, I'm talking about forgiveness. We think that it's okay because we got public assistance. If this ain't help, dog, what is this? When was all lives matter when they killed Osama? There was no peace talks like the Dalai Lama. Bush dropping bombs, saying they don't bring the drama. They got justice, man, they even called the Mr. Obama. But when we ride, they send the military and armor. When we fight oppression and our people die harder. You reap what you sow, some people call it karma. We're fighting for murder, it's harvest like a farmer. Don't tell me don't bring up the past no more. They still trying to set the score with a silent talk. Change my life and I'm just trying to live life right. But at night I look behind me and she flashing lights, patting me down. Got nothing that's holding me right. I don't smoke or push pills, I keep up my fight. So Mr. Officer, why you wanna take my life? Hey, Your Honor, why you gave a homeboy's life? I've been wondering why you shot a homeboy twice. Pussy with a gun screaming out that he got a knife. He came from my baby spot, it was chicken and rice. Shit's tripe, I'm just giving visuals like stuff. Ashtray fine, Mike Brown, and hot girl, Eric Garner, Sean Bell, Philando, Alden Sterling, Jamal Donald. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. I ain't acting, I need the devil. Angels fell landed in the gun. The Lord's giving to the hands of devils. We've seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. Then we got high with the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't acting, I need the devil. I ain't acting, I need the devil. Angels fell landed in the gun. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. I pray for the demise of the devil. Lord knows I spies every devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. Said I pray for God every devil. I've been poetically, effectively, spitting rhymes epically and unapologetic. That's the season me. And my entire squad tower war doubt Danya Allah not the God who will make a talk as I do seasons out them all track for track off of all leaving instrumental charge. All you rappers is our sons and we don't stay alive. All the time I used to think that this was it, but now I wake up in the morning can't remember why I said why not. The game of sugar shit. And I ain't really welcome my nigga, ain't sugarcoating it, just try to make the most of it. Hit him with exclusiveness, flow that's ferocious. Come and get a dose of this. Music is a joke, either selling dope or smoking it. So when I flip this beat, I try to hit him with that potentness. And he'll fucking be like Lucas. It depends only know how I felt about this rap game. They take me out while I'm having a bout. Before I ever got clout or even open my mouth. Compromise is the cowards, I ain't never selling out. The fame, bullshit, records, soul. All the type of things they want straight from my soul. Money, cars, clothes, hoes. Wisdom is better than silver and gold. Give out my love, give out my love. Somebody took some practice and they time to love. Give out my love, give out my love. Somebody tell these rappers they give out my love. I was always taught you can't put a price on integrity. Everyone that know me, some hate, but all have respect for me. My name stands good, carry weight and longevity. Roll by the beat of my own drum and melody. Spit it till I'm 70, spit it till there's no rep in me. Giving you the real, the fake shit so separately. You can't fly, I've been through with no remedy. They hear you, but feel me, my whole energy. These words stand the test of time through 4 centuries. Had these bars engraved on the walls of caves. Tell the story of my people, the stars and slaves. And let this verse spin around to the parchment fades. Never forgot, never will stop. My pen to the bottom, my skin on talking harder without us. Shaming our fathers, but shit, I did the same with the powder. Now I roll with soldiers that'll clean your block in an hour. I'm here for the power, I'm here to rep the slogan of power. You can't get devoured, now you in the jungle with lions. I murder fumble rap, shit I do it, not even trying. Going from with that, turn the beat to maximum volume. Then I go attack, any beat I beat this shit out of. For the love of the game, make the same with this album. It's up the city, bullshit, records, soul. All the type of things they want straight from my soul. Money, cars, clothes, hoes. Wisdom is better than silver and gold. Give out my love, give out my love. Somebody tell this practice that they start to love. Give out my love, give out my love. you. Please already told you that G's move like lasagna. I feel you saw most in the sauce. And the pasta, we eat that. Give him a coach away from feedback. Trying to press charges on my government. Most my niggas really cool, think they thuggin' it. I really think of coffee, I'm on some other shit. I'm a thug, nigga, while I'm thugger shit. Woke up feeling like a big. Faith been fucking with me, heard she had another kid. All the stress is fucking with me, I'ma need another leg. All these devils fucking with me, I'ma split a piggy wig. Yo, this is real as it gets. Back in the flash, back in the back in this back system. Return to the immortals, since being low in the portal. It's mega, more better than most, niggas immortals.
What? Whatever you need to do. Yeah. What's going on, Israel? ISUPK.com is the website. You know how we do every Monday night. We get it in, as usual, bringing it in with all the knowledge and the truth of the Most High. I'm Commander GEN.YAHANNA. I'm your host tonight, and we about to get rocking. But before we get to that royal monstrosity that they call the wedding, let's deal with a couple of things, because there is so many issues that are breaking forth out here today concerning black people. So many attacks on black people, so many attacks. The black woman is under deep attack by the white woman. The white woman is getting revenge on you black women that have gone out and dabbled with the white man and had a little jungle fever. The white woman wants full revenge on you. The white woman is calling the cops on black people like crazy, mainly on black women, calling the cops on them, raising hell with them, starting all kinds of trouble. So we're gonna bust out these stories and going into it and see where we at, because it's pretty amazing, man. Okay, and let me say this too, for all you black people out there, Latinos and Native Indians that didn't believe us, you begin to see now that you are not loved in this empire. You thought it was just a couple of ignorant, poor, trailer trash white people that hated you. Now you finding out doctors, lawyers, you being hated in every avenue. And here's what's going to happen next. You about to see what they call subtle disrespect increased. In other words, you know how you go to you buy something out of the Best Buy or Walmart, and you don't like the product, and you decide you're going to go back and get the product changed, you're going to get harassed now. They're going to be like, well, we can't take that product back. Why not? It's your policy to take it back. I'm sorry, the package is defective, ma'am. You're going to get a ton of that next. You all right? What? You're going to get a ton of that next. You're going to get a ton of subtle disrespect. Where normally things were a courtesy with white people, they're going to be now horrible. Let me explain something to you that you may not understand, that you should. I know I keep harping on this, but it's so important at this time. That when Moses went down to check on his brothers, Moses saw the amazing disrespect that the Egyptians were doing to the Hebrews, which is what made him go down to check on them in the first place. And these events going on all over America that we're bringing out is a beautiful, wonderful thing, because they are not a wonderful thing for what we're being victimized for, but what's wonderful about them is that they're exposing how these so-called Edomites, these Egyptians, how they really are towards us. You seeing their hatred, I mean, is it spilling out, or is it spilling out all over into the street? All the top news agencies are talking about it now. Now, finally, you're going to lose the pride of believing in the lie of loving this empire. Finally, you're going to have to realize that maybe, just maybe, you were dead wrong. Finally, you're going to be able to see it, because let me tell you something. The days that's coming next are horrible, horrible days. A lot of you black people hoping that Hillary Clinton could put the genie back in the bottle and stop this evil that's happening. You can forget about that. you better hope that you even get another Democrat in the White House. You may not get another Democrat in the White House for 20 years with what's going on right now, because they are unified in their hatred of you. And Donald Trump and the Republican Party have green-lighted them to abuse you in this empire. And the black woman, let me tell you something. We said this years ago. We said you're going to be looking for a man to protect you and watch over you. You're going to be hoping for it. When we read these stories tonight, you're going to understand what I'm saying. And Muhammad brought up something earlier before we started the show that was good and important. He said that now the black woman realized and the world realized that the black woman is not the monster. You thought the black woman was monster. This is for all you niggas. I'm adding this in now. For all you Negroes out there who thought you got something when you got that little white flat behind fish feeling. They feel like fish. I mean, I ain't never had one, thank the Lord. I'm not saying from experience. I'm saying from observation. I don't sleep with fish either, but I know what they feel and smell like. You understand? And now you went out and got her and thought you had to come up and was better and was going to move into the suburbs, and now you waking up to find out she's the real monster. The stories of Tiger Woods and O.J. Simpson about these monster white women are true. They are bold and emboldened in abusing you, calling the cops on you. And here's the thing that went on. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to go into the stories in a second. And like I said, we're going to get to that wedding and all that. But now is the time to really examine back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, the tactics used by white people to abuse black, Latino, and Native Indian people. Because you're about to see those tactics increased again and again. And the main tactic that they use is calling the cops on you for everything. Calling the cops, they're going to be calling the cops for everything, to where the cops, in the beginning now, the cops see that it's all BS, and the cops kind of feel like it's a harassing call or a nonsense call because it ain't really an incident. But the cops, they full of demons as well. And the cops are going to eventually get angry that they are constantly being called for these little minor silly incidents. And what the cops are going to start to do is start to take it out on black people and Latino people and Native Indian people. Even though they're going to know that the white woman is telling a big lie by calling these cops, they still going to be mad, just like they was back when they killed Emmett Till and so many others. All right, mighty man. Just like they was back then. When they came after brothers in the past and killed them, saying that they whistled at a white woman and kissed a white woman, many a times those was fault. Not many a time, what am I saying? All the time, because why I say that? Because it ain't never been no proof that it happened.
That's right.
Black people were scared to death of white people back then, and meanwhile they would get the cops was being called for every little incident that supposedly was being done to a white woman. And as a result, that white woman got many of brothers killed. And now she's stepping it back up again. And let me tell you something, on conservative talk radio, they are telling white women, damn near straight out telling white women, you should not feel afraid of them. If you feel any discomfort by them, you don't hesitate to call the cops. The cops say, if you see something, say something. Well, if you see something, say something. Let the cops sort it out. And as a result, these bastards is calling the cops on black people, brother. The 911 calls is coming in like crazy. Okay, to it. You're going to find out the hard way, like we've been telling you, straight out of the greatest holy book that ever walked the face of the earth. If you do not love and respect the Bible, smack yourself, drop on your knees, pray to the Lord, and then kick yourself. Because that's what you need to do if you too damn dumb to realize how merciful the Lord was to leave us this book called the Bible. Because by having that book is how we are able to see what we otherwise could not see. We could now see because of these records. We see what it really is. And what it really is you were always a slave. And only now are you beginning to be freed from your slavery. The first step of your slavery ending is you got to be awoken. And how do you get awoken? By these incidents. These incidents awaken you out of your sleep. And now as you become awake, you're going to begin to see the real world you've been living in. So with that, General, if you could, tell me where we're going first.
Angry racist tells Hispanics, I pay for your welfare.
Come on.
A Midtown lawyer was caught on video yelling racist comments at Spanish-speaking restaurant workers.
He walked in the restaurant and went off on the tribe of Issachar. And if I could add something else too, they tried to act like, see, it's about the law. These are illegal immigrants. It's about the law. Can't we follow the law? Is the law, the rule of the law, wrong now? Meanwhile, these Issacharites are citizens. That's why they're here, working in the restaurant. Now, I thought it was just illegal citizens. Meanwhile, they coming after brothers who are legal. Now, it ain't so much whether you illegal or not. Now, you can't even speak your native language. White people, if not for the Lord, would exterminate the earth except for themselves. Go ahead, General, please. Give me a little more.
Every person I listened to, he spoke Spanish, he spoke it, she's speaking it. It's America.
Right. Go ahead. And here's amazing. If I could, General, I know I keep interrupting, but I got to say this. Black people, Latino people, Native Indian people, wake the hell up. Brother, they got whole Chinatowns. This is spiritual. Do not tell me the Mexicans are not the Lord's chosen people. Because you got whole Chinatowns where they ain't speaking no English in there. The stores got Mandarin on the store. You go in to buy a box of tea, you don't know if you're getting cow foot or gorilla butt. You don't even know what, unless you get somebody that know what's in the store, you don't have a goddamn clue what the hell you getting. I remember General Hazayan, trained in that martial arts for years. And so he would slow him out, take it out. He would go down there and get certain things that he would eat. And brother, I go down there with him, I walk in the store, it's Gookville. And he know what to get. Sometimes I like, goddamn. like the brother know what to pull, what to get, what tea to get. I'm in here like, did we get dropped off the plane in goddamn North Korea? What's going on? You understand? Meanwhile, no beef from the white man. No problem. No beef from him. I said maybe the Chinese restaurants in the hood hiring lower class workers. I go in the Chinese restaurant in Esau neighborhood and order some food. The bastard don't know what the hell I'm saying. White people in there ordering the food, trying to help them along. I want the Kwang Fu rice. They can't even talk. White people helping them to get the menu right. Come on, General.
That's why they're numbered. Right.
Oh, right. That's right. So, because they can't even understand you. So you got to say, let me get a number 7. Since you can't, General So, you say General So, this fool don't even know what the hell you saying. You understand? So they got, like you said, they got to put numbers on the goddamn menu. And brother, and it's horrible. And no beef from white people. You ain't heard of a single incident of some white person cursing out some Oriental in some Oriental restaurant, in an East Indian restaurant, in any of them restaurants. The Arabs don't never know what the hell you saying. You gonna talk to them out unless it's one of them 20-year-old Lincoln Fried Chickens with the chicken is hard like a brick. You can damn near you look like it's hard like them rocks them Palestinians throwing over there. You understand? unless you get going to one of them spots, them Arabs don't know what the hell you talking about. But meanwhile, no beef from white people, right or wrong. But boy, the venom they have for the 12 tribes. Once again, the Lord said, you could ignore the Most High if you want me. I'm going to swallow that book like the Lord told Ezekiel. That book called the Bible, it's going to be right here with me. because I know that book is the wisdom on how we get out of this hell and how to navigate while we in this hell at this time. And it is the book that shows us and teaches us how we should serve the Lord to please the Most High, because surely we have not pleased the Most High. So then fools like this won't have the chance to do what it is that they do, because they hatred, damn right, Most High's right. Because like the scripture said, their hatred from us started in the womb. This is DNA hatred. This hatred with us is part of the genetic code with these bastards. Come on, General, please.
Come to one gun. 2 women were ordering lunch and speaking Spanish with a worker helping them when the man butted in. Quote, "My guess is they're not documented, so my next call is to ICE to have each one of them kicked out of my country. If they have the balls to come here and live off my money, I'll pay for their welfare. I'll pay for their ability to be here."
And can I say this? And if it was really that, they would have no argument with the tribe of Judah. The tribe of Judah built this rat hole. The tribe of Judah died in them slave pits. You understand? To build this place. And if I could, y'all, I know I'm going to jump ahead, but let's go to Angola prison after this, General. Well, let's go to the Angola. This is the worst prison on the face of this earth. And the largest prison. All over the world, it's the largest prison. This prison is famous for the abuse of black men, but they done took the abuse to another level. And you would think white people would be like super humanitarians against us. Let me tell you something, man. There's been a war against you for 400 years. All of that garbage, every one of those Christian preachers that followed other Christian bishops and cardinals all the way back to the Vatican that taught us that it was all about love and coming together, they were all traitors to destroy you against the Most High, because they all taught you a lie that allowed the white man to spend the last 100 years destroying us as a people and massively incarcerating us and massively doping us up and massively abusing us psychologically for the last 100 years, while these bastards sat up there and say, Jesus is love and it's all about love. They said that in the damn wedding. I'm gonna just pepper one little pepper, just little peppercorns for you. You heard the black preacher, they called the Negro in, because of course, if he wasn't there, it would have been dead like a funeral. It was like a goddamn funeral. This is the Duchess of Sussex. You understand? It was supposed to be, you know, pomp and circumstance. But they in there, the queen, her face is about hard as concrete. That's the meanest bitch on the planet. That bitch right there. I ain't gonna touch it. I'm gonna wait. But I just gotta say one small thing about it. The whole thing. That they brought the preacher in who talked about love, imagine a society of love. Meanwhile, Great Britain is the great powerful empire based on murdering the tribe of Benjamin and Levi. And not just them, but mainly the tribe of Benjamin and Levi, who to this day, and in Central and South America and in Africa, who to this day, as we speak, many of which still live in shacks made with tinfoil roofs today. That's why the British Empire is so rich and powerful and riding in horse-drawn carriages, man. And Negroes sitting up there like, oh, he married a black woman. You disgusting pigs. And furthermore, did y'all see the jealousy on them other black women, Serena Williams and them? They mad that they didn't get the prince, huh? They mad that you should have saw it. They was shunning their own white people, white boys. They all came with their white boys and was mad that their white boy wasn't the goddamn Prince of Sussex. I said, look at this mess we got here. So anyway, I'm coming back to it. I'm going back to the story, General Salaki. We're going to get back on the zone, because it's insane what we living with, man. It's insane the world we living with. And we've been taught this is all our fault, which is a goddamn lie. I'm getting off. I know we got a lot of stories. I might ask y'all to go over a little tonight just to get all the stories in. Come on with it. Salaki, Sakawu. Was you call it? Okay. You say, yeah, let's do it. Okay, you can do it. Okay, no sweat. The water. Come on, General.
I pay for their ability to be here.
We have the video if you want the video instead of the story.
Come on, let's rock the video if we could. For what? Oh, you can't hear that out. You can't hear that. You can't hear that. Scratch that. It's not even worth it. Scratch it. Keep the still shot up. We can scratch that. Let the General break it down. The water too. It would have been good because I saw it at home and it was crispy and it was rough how he was taking it. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, I wouldn't sweat it. This is pretty scratchy. Go ahead. I think everybody can go and look that up if they want to. Let's go ahead.
The least they can do is speak English. If you intend on running a place in Midtown Manhattan, the staff should be speaking.
Stop! In Midtown Manhattan, General. We ain't talking Alabama. We ain't talking Southern California, Texas. Midtown Manhattan. Filled with blacks and Latinos. And now they mad. And listen, they done deported them by the thousands. And they still mad. Please, General.
If I could, in Midtown Manhattan, if you have a restaurant where they only speak French, that's the most expensive restaurant.
Thank you.
If the menu is only in French.
Damn. Muhammad know about that.
French,
he's upper crust, so he knows about these things. All right. Go ahead. Salakia.
If the menu is only in French, the wine list in French.
Damn.
And the sommelier, which is the wine.
Good night. The sommelier.
He comes over. He only speaks French.
Damn.
And you have to know French to order.
Imagine that.
And in Midtown, man, if you don't know French,
listen,
you can't order the wine.
I'm amazed.
You can't order the food. And it's the most expensive restaurants there because they only speak French.
Listen, I'm floored by what you just said. And here's why I'm floored by it. I'm floored by it because it makes so much sense. If you're going to have a fully authentic French restaurant, you want that restaurant to be completely embraced in its culture. So much so that you want the waiters and maitre d's even to speak French. In other words, when I walk into this French restaurant, I'm supposed to be as though I'm in France and getting the full French culture. Am I right? Which is why I'm paying so much. So, which means, in its analogy, which means that the fact that you are buying into their culture is what is expensive because their culture has value. But meanwhile, the Mexican culture, they mad that the Mexican culture don't speak English. Meaning they don't want no value on this culture. They'll put some value on French culture. And now that you say that, that's a lot of restaurants. Vietnamese, Italian.
Forget about Italian.
For Italian, right. You know what I mean? You go in there, they some of them top ones, right or wrong. Yeah. But meanwhile, the Mexican culture, the tribe of Issachar, according to the Lord, they got to pour their culture out on the street and speak English. The white man is the devil's vice.
That's right.
God, damn right. Good point too, General. I'm with you, General Maya.
Cut it to one gun. Say, that the staff should be speaking English, not Spanish. He said, honey, I'm calling ICE. That's it. Sorry.
Imagine that. If they don't speak English, deport them. For not speaking English. Deport them. And let me tell you something, if I could, just a good caveat. Don't be afraid when you see these white people moving like this. Right. These white people moving like this is a gift from the Lord. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there are millions, listen to me good, there are millions of brothers right now who are felons, who do not have the ability to get a regular job because they got a felony record. And guess what? The more the white man does this, he thinks he's doing something. He thinks he's kicking the Mexicans behind. But what he's doing is he's going to force the Mexicans to eat in their own Mexican restaurant. And he's going to force the Mexicans to hire their own Mexican staff. And guess what's going to happen? All them felons are now going to be able to get jobs. Because now that Mexican owner is only going to be able to hire Mexicans. So now he ain't gonna worry about if he a felon. He gonna know his cousin Pablo, who's a felon, you know what I mean? But he's a straight up dude. He done repented. He's brand new. Pablo, come on, man, I got a job for you. Pablo gonna be thankful because he couldn't get a job otherwise. So what they gonna in essence do is they're going to empower the ghetto, thinking that they're not. And I know I promised I was going to bring this letter in, but I'm going to bring it in. I got a beautiful letter from Egypt where an Egyptian official is complaining to the Pharaoh about the prosperity of the 12 tribes. And he's complaining about it because they segregated themselves from the 12 tribes, and the 12 tribes started to increase and they started to decrease, which is exactly what the scripture said happened. The scripture said that we kept multiplying and were fruitful, and the Lord was blessing us, and the Egyptians got vexed by it. I got the letter proof where they complaining, look how good they living, look how much money they making, we suffering. That's what they're creating right now in America, and they too goddamn dumb to know it. They hate us so much, it's blinding them. It's blinding them right now. If you got a good skill in something, just sit back and wait. Wait for the Lord, because if you are a welder or a plumber or an electrician or this or that, in these stories, I know I'm running on, but in these stories we're going to read tonight, you're going to see after a while you can't even drive in white neighborhoods after a while. So guess what? That brother that's an electrician going to have plenty of work in the hood.
That's it.
Plenty of work in the hood. Let's go. I'm going to get off of that. Can I get off of that? Let's move on to the next one, General. You can run them down. There's so many good ones I plan. I'm going over tonight. I'm telling y'all now, even if it's just for the tape, I'm going over. For somebody to watch later, I know some of y'all got to get up early, but I got to rock these stories out. Brothers went through a lot of trouble to get this. A big shout out to Ratazar Pala, General Mankala, General Muhammad, Captain Shapar Napash, my main man, Captain Saka War, holding us down, with morale, who've been consistently up in here with us, and all other brothers reading and teaching and helping with the truth. Yo, make sure you hit the barbecue. I'm off of it. Go ahead, General. Salah.
Teacher tells 10-year-old he'll only be able to blame himself when he's 16 and shot by police.
He's 10. He's 10 years old. Is that part of the teaching curriculum? White people is something. And listen, and the more, it's in a way, it's so good that they were able to just be themselves. Because we see the animal that they are. And something else we see the danger we in. You didn't know the danger you were in because that preacher was saying, Jesus got it all, and Jesus got it covered, and don't you worry about nothing, and God gonna bless you, and Jesus is riding with you in the car, that Jesus take the wheel. You take your hand off that goddamn wheel if you want to. Give it to God. Give it to God, I tell you. You're going to end up in Cook County Hospital with a broken, with a fractured hip bone, your dumb ass. Sitting up there listening to him. Right, come. You know what I'm saying? Listening to that nonsense. And meanwhile putting you in damn danger. Now we see the danger we in. I'm sorry, General. Come on.
A mother is outraged after she says a teacher at Rose Hill Elementary School told her 10-year-old son he'll only be able to blame himself when he's shot by police when he's 16. The family says the incident occurred when 10-year-old Malachi Pearson was playing with some friends in the cafeteria, and the teacher stepped in to intervene. Quote, he says, she told me when you turn 16 and the police shoot you, the only person you can be mad at is yourself.
And let me tell you something else. That's how many white people they feel like if these black people getting killed, it's their fault because they're not following the rules. And he probably was horsing around in the cafeteria. And of course, the brutal thought in her mind is that he's out of control and undisciplined. Well, let me tell you something. I don't see too many black children going into the goddamn school with a machine gun and murdering everybody in sight just because they ain't like them. I don't see that. But meanwhile, you don't never hear no story from no white teacher telling some young devil that when you turn 19 and shoot up the school, it'll be your own fault. I don't never tell. When a white boy shoot up the school, he had mental illness. We have to work harder to help people with mental illnesses because they've got issues. We've got to help them. Meanwhile, he's 10 years old and bury him before he even get to 16. Put it in his head already that he's to be dead. I'm done with it unless you're going somewhere, General. You want to hit the scripts on or you want to go to the next one?
Okay, we'll go to the next one.
Let's go to the next one. Where are we going? So that happened also. So, which once again, you're going to have so many of these incidences that you're not, after a while, the mothers ain't even going to go to school no more. Because you're going to have tons of these incidences, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to use the cardinal rule number 1, which is blame, blame, blame the victim. Every time an incident happens, they'll tell you your child is out of control. Your child has no discipline. Your child, meanwhile, white kids, I wish somebody could find me that video of that white kid that went in the coffee shop and asked to use the bathroom. Y'all saw that video? Brother, you saw it? Yikewab, if you can get it for me, this white girl went in the restaurant. You talk about, let me tell you something, white people is in a different page than us. She went in the coffee shop. Negroes got arrested just for sitting in there. This white girl went in the coffee shop, asked to use the bathroom. They said no. She said she got to go really, really bad. They said no. Brother, she backed up off the counter, dropped her drawers, and took a dump in the middle of the coffee shop.
That was about going to the bathroom?
About going to the bathroom. Dang. Then she picked up the dump in her bare hand and flung it at the cat behind the counter. He bucked out the back. He bucked out like it was a grenade. He bucked out of there like Al-Qaeda came into the coffee shop. I mean, she did it with precision. And calmly walked over to the towel rack, pulled some paper towels, wiped her hands, and walked out of the coffee shop. She's never to be found or seen or heard again. That's how white people deal with you not letting them use the bathroom.
I didn't know it was about
that. That was about the bathroom. God, somebody got it. Can we pull it up? If you can get it to Soccer War. It's amazing. You sit in the coffee shop, get locked the hell up. You tell this bitch she can't go to the bathroom. This white devil, you gonna have jailhouse doo-doo flung. She gonna treat you like she's from the asylum ward. It's crazy out. But meanwhile, we the ones out of control. We the ones with no discipline. We the ones that's the wolf pack on the street. If Salawar get this video, you're gonna be blown away. But while he's looking for that, let's go back to the story, General.
Starbucks once again in the middle of racism accusations after a racial slur was printed on a customer's cup.
Brother, this one was a personal hurt piece to me. I feel for the tribe of Issachar over there. And it's right on time because this is in a Starbucks. So first let's play this video, Soccer War. This is an amazing thing. She's asking to use the bathroom. He's telling her no. She's chastising him for saying, I gotta use the bathroom. She's like, yo, I gotta use the bathroom. He's going back and forth like, I'm sorry, ma'am, it's a policy. You can't use the bathroom. Oh, yeah? Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, really? Uh-huh. No problem. I'll show you how I handle this. I'll show you. Look. It's not done. How you gonna charge black people for sitting in the Starbucks? Meanwhile, the tape is revealing. Play it again, Soccer War. Play it again. You got to play it twice. Look at this here. Look at. Listen, they have to close the restaurant for sanitary conditions after that. They have to sanitize the whole restaurant. That was amazing. I mean, made my stomach curdle a little. But good night. They animals, huh? And you don't give them their rights given to them under the American flag, they gonna bomb you with some doo-doo. You gonna be jacked up. And once again, here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the day that you got to encounter her. Because you think she did that to a white boy. Right. What you think she gonna do when they really get their fervor up above hatred for us? They gonna get crazy out here. You think we was the criminals and the animals? You about to see the monster mash come to life on these white people, huh? Now, let's go back to the story. Now look what happened to this brother. You understand? Now he did not bomb them with 2 lumps of doo-doo. He just simply ordered coffee. And look what happened to him. Go ahead, General.
Pedro said he was hurt, felt bad, and insulted, not just for him, but for everyone of Hispanic descent and African American. He was a victim of the racial slur at La Canada Flint Ridge Starbucks, a picture of which was sent to Fox.
They sent it to the news. Here's what it said. Go ahead, General.
He said he ordered his coffee. They asked him his name. He gave it to them. When it was ready, they called out.
And that's important. They had his name. So it wasn't no, question what the deal was. They had his name. Go ahead.
When it was ready, they called out Pedro.
By his name.
And later, when he looked at his cup, it had the racial slur Beaner printed on it.
That's foul. Somebody put Beaner on the coffee. And still knew it was him because they called him by the name. So the name wasn't on the coffee. Beaner was on the coffee. Would show you how much they hate. They spiritually know who the 12 tribes are. I've been telling you for the longest, the ISUPK, you jammed up? No, David, I've been telling you for the longest, the ISUPK has the truth. That the Lord called and raised up the prophets in the ISUPK. You can't get around it. You need to hear these words. Join the truth. Lace up your boots. We are at the end. Don't blow your shot at the kingdom of heaven. Soccer War, take me away to a break. I'm going to come back. I got a ton more. We're going to talk about the wedding of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Back in a moment, y'all, live on the UPK.
This is 12 Chair General
Amazing.
Of the Israelite School of UPK.
Oh, that might be Oh, it's in Chicago. Can you go and come back if you need to? Oh, amazing.
I know it's about the bathroom.
Yeah.
Being about the bathroom is just poetic.
Yes, it is. And a coffee shop.
Shalom, this is 12 Chair General Mahayman of the Israelite School of UPK under commanding General Yohanna. Make sure you get to the Midwest
Yeah. Hey, Zagalo, whose song is that song I hear at the end of it? It's hot.
Officer Quinaya in Minneapolis.
Quinaya? Boy, that song is hot. No, that's not him.
It's Captain Ty Ward also rapping that beat.
Okay.
That song is Officer Quinaya.
I got you. That's a hot song. I want to get the whole song. And big shout out to Captain Ty Ward doing an amazing job in the work of the Most High. He's like the quiet storm up in this truth, doing it up every day. Big shout out to Officer Quinaya out there in one of them old Midwest states, holding it down. I can't wait to get out there so I know what is out there. For my whole life, it was like that was another planet. No, I'm good, Duwater. Appreciate it. All right, so we back. I want to let all the captains know around the country. Now, this ain't guaranteed, but the brothers put together a fund to try to assist some of you captains if you're trying to make it out to the Midwest barbecue. Once again, this is not guaranteed. Don't charge the Lord. You understand? But they put a fund together, and all the captains for some, you know, if you pooling to get out there, whatever, or you got men under you that might need a little help, and you want to help them, and you able to cover yourself, you know, let us know. Get in touch with the Treasury Department, and brothers going to try to help you if you need it. You know what I'm saying? But brothers have been doing good. I've been hearing about it. Brothers have been doing an excellent job with sharing and looking out for one another, helping the sisters out as well. Israel is flowing in the right direction. Everybody lay up your folly ground, support the truth, pay your tithes, like your boys' videos, and definitely subscribe, okay? And keep this work hot and rocking.
That's right.
Now, let's get it in. Can we move the water, gentlemen?
Prison.
Huh? Well, yeah, let's go to Angola prison if we could. Because, brother, this story right here, big shout out to Captain Shaparna. This story here is the beast on what it is that they still doing to this day. This came off of the Root, I believe, wrote this story. And we're going to bring it out if you can get it.
Like a Facebook.
Oh, it's coming up?
Like a
Oh,
video.
damn. It ain't coming up like you want it? I could probably get it.
Video and comments.
How you looking, Sean?
No problem.
We out?
You ever pull like a
Let me get it for you. I'll get it for you right quick. Bear with me, bear. Say again? Yeah. Yeah. You want to read it off of this, or you want me to read it? How you want to do it?
read it off of there.
Can we do that, General? Got that?
You got it, Mike?
Go.
Yeah. Yeah, take it off of that right there if you could. You ain't got to bother with the link. I'll take it back afterwards. This is a hell of a story about what's going on. Can we give him the camera? Let's see if we can get it in. We good to go?
Okay.
Go ahead.
U.S. largest prison where black men pick cotton for 4 cents an hour.
4 cents an hour picking cotton. I mean, 4 cents an hour. You hate. You only doing it so that you don't say it's slavery. That's the only reason you're doing it. But 4 cents an hour, you saying this is slavery. But that 4 cents an hour make it like, well, it's not slavery. They are earning a salary. 4 cents an hour. You can't make a phone call for the 4 cents an hour. Okay? You can't make a prison phone call for that. These people are monsters to the Lord's chosen people. And this day, 2018, still hate us in the way they hate us after so much abuse and wiping us out. Now you understand why the Lord had to hit Egypt with those amazing plagues. Because they were so incredulously evil against us that the Lord had to do something extreme for them to get the point. And here's the bad news. The Lord is going to do something extreme this time as well. It's called global thermonuclear warfare. That's what he's going to do this time to punish the nations of this earth for the evil that they have erected in this earth. Go ahead, General, please.
Crops stretch to the horizon. Black bodies pepper the landscape. Hunched over as they work the fields. Officers on horseback, armed, oversee the workers.
This is a plan. Oh, go ahead.
To the untrained eye, the scenes in Angola for life, rehabilitation and reform inside the Louisiana State Penitentiary, an Atlantic documentary film on an old southern slave plantation turned prison.
They took an old southern slave plantation, turned it into a prison, called it Angola for life. For all lifers, they send you to Angola prison. And while you in that prison, you go back into the fields and work the plantation the same way it was worked in slavery. Only difference is you get 4 cents an hour. The white man is not the devil. We ain't gonna play that one. You ain't gonna tell me the white man's not the devil? No sweat. Go ahead.
The imagery haunts, and the stench of slavery and racial oppression lingers through the 13 minutes of footage.
So this is a film they got coming out showing you how they deal with us. There's not enough blood they could spill for these animals to be satisfied with us. There ain't enough for them to say, you know what, we killed so many of them, we should just stop. There'll never be enough. There will never, ever, ever be enough, which is why if a man have an ounce of wisdom, if you got an ounce of good sense, you should be calling on the God of Israel. Even if you don't believe you are an Israelite, certainly you know that the God of Israel is who delivered a nation out of slavery. You are in slavery. You should call on the one God that got a reputation for getting people out of slavery. Right. Muhammad ain't getting nobody out of slavery. Right. He went and conquered and tore up lands. The white Jesus, he's gay. He ain't got nobody out of slavery. He's sleeping with every little boy he can find. Okay? The God of Cali and all them gods they got in East India, I ain't never read none of them deliver nobody out of no goddamn slavery. Right. Them gods down in South America, what's the name of some of them gods? They just celebrated one. Death, you know. Yeah, all them little gods and Catholic religion gods and the Pope and all them. When you heard of the Pope and them delivering anybody out of slavery? Never. But the God of Israel, he's the man you call on when you want to be delivered out of the hand of an oppressor. That's the God you call on. That's why we ain't got out of here, because we ain't called on the right Negro yet. And yes, he's a Negro with woolly hair. Okay, and him being a Negro with woolly hair, he relates to being in slavery. He understands that. And brother, he gonna come back and do something on this earth like you ain't never seen before. Them Egyptians, brother, he broke their pride. He broke their pride, he broke it with 10 plagues. And they eventually had to give it up and let them Hebrews up out of there and let them fix their nation up. Right now, you scared to go, you scared to be free. The white man say that tomorrow, we opening up the door, y'all can go on out as a nation, and the Negroes will be like, oh, hell no, we staying right here. You be scared to do it, but guess what? Don't worry, God coming with angels to take you out this time. You ain't gonna have no choice. You coming up out of here, and you gonna build the greatest empire that ever walked the face of this earth, because this must end at some point. Go ahead, Salah.
Cut in one cut. The storyline, which raises disquieting questions about how America treats those on the inside as less than human. Those troubling opening scenes of the documentary offer visual proof of a truth that America has worked hard to ignore. In a sense, slavery never ended.
In a sense, slavery has never ended. There ain't no in a sense. It has never ended. It has never ended. And all these incidents that's in the news, where's all the sports fans? Remember the sports fans was complaining that it was not patriotic to put the knee down? Now the players ain't putting the knee down. But the killing and the murdering of the Lord's people still going on. So why the fans ain't saying, well, they ain't protesting the game, so we should stand up and say something about it? They don't give a damn about you, man. A preacher in America, a black preacher in America, is the slimiest creature that ever slithered from under a rock, because he is the one that is keeping you poisoned to death for his own lustful gain. That is what he's doing. So this is a part of America's dirty, dark secret. And they said peppered the landscape, meaning it's thousands of brothers. This is the largest prison in America. Angola for life. So the land is peppered with brothers out there working the land. Damn near no white people go to this prison. Damn near none go to this prison. All black and Latino men working in these fields are like slaves for 4 cents an hour. I mean, if you go out there for 8 hours, what's that? 32 cents? 8, 60, 30. You get 32 cents for an 8-hour shift. In a week, what's that? 32 by 5? 3 times 5, that's 15. 2 times 5 is 10. $100.60? No, $16. Did I get that right? Somebody calculate that. Huh? It's $1.60? No. You can't even buy a Snickers bar for $1.60. Like, these is monsters. Though again, the 4 cents is just to say we don't have them in slavery. When you have them in slavery, Salaka, come on, Super.
If I could, in the footage here, it says sometimes they pay them 2 cents.
Sometimes it's 2 cents. Oh, sometimes they don't get the full 4 cents. These brothers is in hell. They in hell. You get caught up, and listen, some brothers have committed horrible, horrible crimes. But those horrible crimes that them brothers committed are, I can guarantee you, 400 years of slavery has honed them into bringing them brothers to who they are. Them brothers is in that situation now because they've been honed into that situation. They coming from families that's been not just broken, but totally cannibalized. And those parents, they come from that family, come from another family that was damn near starvation 2 generations ago. You understand? Listen, I go back 1 generation, brother. I grew up, let me tell you straight up, I grew up and sometimes all we ate was cornflakes. Cornflakes was the cheapest cereal in America back in the 70s. And sometimes all we had was cornflakes and milk for the whole day. Okay, that's how starving we was. Could you imagine in the South? Could you imagine in all them old dark holes of the earth? Now, what does that do to a human being, man? What does it do to a human being? And how poor were their parents? And their parents before them were slaves. So I ain't even got to tell you about that. We only got to go back 2 or 3 generations because past that, everybody else was full out in a slavery. So, and then you're going to turn around and act in 2018 like blacks and Latinos and Native Indians is supposed to be model citizens now. It's supposed to be a question of what is your problem. White people are so thoughtless. They are people that have absolutely no conscience for what they do on the earth, which is why you need a God to stop people like them. You need a God to intervene. People hate, you got a lot of people walking around talking about they atheists. I don't believe in God. I'm my own person. My decisions are based on what I think. You's a damn fool is what you are. You not only you a fool because you don't even know the things that function in your own life, okay, around you. You don't even understand the environment you're in yet. The white man been studying it for 1,000 years. He ain't figured it out yet. So that makes you a dumbass right there. And on top of that, you a real dumbass to think that you don't need a God to intervene in a world that's full of hell and chaos and mayhem. You think you just making your way. That's just because you, just like the Egyptians, have been living on the good end of life, while the slaves have been living on the bad end of life. And you able to go home to your house every night and feel so good even though you're a horrible beast. You're able to go home and feel good because it's really the niggers that's the problem, not you. So you never have to look at yourself. But you about to have to, white people, they about to have to look at themselves. You know why? Because the minute Christ break this atmosphere is the minute you look up and see them ships, you gonna think about who are you really. That minute, the minute you look up and you see it, that's the moment you're going to say to yourself, what kind of person have I been on this earth? Because at that moment, you're going to know that you have no power. You're going to know that your life is not your own. You're going to know that whatever that is in the sky that's coming for you can do whatever he wants with you. And the only thing you're going to have to stand on is your rep. And if your rep been that rep of an evil empire who have ruled over God's people and destroyed them, whoo, you're going to be in a jam in that day. And especially knowing that it is the God who gets people out of slavery. What you going to do then? I'm done with that part. We done on this? So what? Go back to the original list, and then we'll go hit some more of those. You need a minute? Or can I go to it? Come on, you got a script? Hit me.
Isaiah 42 and 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
We are people that's been robbed and spoiled. Robbed, meaning they took everything from us, and spoiled, meaning they took it from us violently. Violently. Go ahead. And listen, and they just getting started. You about to see them do some mess in here that's amazing. And churches is shutting down like crazy, you know. People is leaving out of churches because the message in the church is not matching the world they're in. They complaining to the Democratic Party, complaining to Hillary Clinton that the congregations are not listening to them because the message ain't fitting the world they living in. You understand? Like they need the white man to be a little nice so that when they say God is all love, you believe it. The problem is white people is being the devil like they always been, but they coming out with it. So now it's like the preacher's words ain't having no effect. People realize that's some BS because that ain't what's happening when I walk outside the door. And so as a result, churches are starting to depopulate and come down. And brother, it's amazing. Listen, if I could, I ran across an incident myself that was amazing. I was amazing to me in that I'm reading about these stories, and there's so many of them we don't know about that I actually saw one take place. I'm sitting in the parking lot of it in a strip mall, and Edomite comes walking out the store, and the Issacharite sitting in his Jeep. The Edomite come out the store and say some racial nonsense to the Issacharite. The Issacharite looked like he had some money too. He driving a brand new Range Rover, sitting up high in the seat. The Edomite must have not liked it. The Edomite walked off in front of the car, turned around, as he go into his car, turned around and said some smart ass shit to the Issacharite, and then went to his car. The Issacharite wasn't no punk. He was like, what? Some, what? And he jumped on the gas and started going around to come catch up with the Edomite. The Edomite turned around, made a beeline back to the stores, called 911 out, and then posted up behind a pillar. And the Issacharite looking for him. He going around in a circle trying to find this cat. I called the crib like, you better watch when you come out that store, okay? Because they about to go off out here. You understand? So then he go around looking for him. Issacharite can't find him. Next thing you know, the Issacharite pull off. About a minute later, here comes the sheriff's department. He pull up. The Edomite giving him the story of what happened. Meanwhile, he ain't telling him how he went off on this Issacharite. He probably giving the Issacharite's license plate, saying this, saying that to get him jammed up. Meanwhile, the Edomite is the one that started. And for me to see it, said to myself, boy, these incidences are increasing like crazy. You understand? We're going to hear more and more and more until it be so out of control. Once again, the Lord is separating you from the nations. Get that for me too if you can. Somebody get that. Where the Lord said he severed you from these other nations. But finish what you read.
They are all of them snared in holes.
Right, we snared in holes. Meaning every kind of trap they got for prison, drugs, child support, broken homes, no jobs, destroy our education so we can't get to degrees to get the big money. All kinds of traps and holes we caught up into. Forget about the straight up racism. That's the biggest hole that they keep us trapped in. But that day is coming to an end. Christ about to rule this whole world. And it's going to be a righteous world when he do. Go ahead, Doc.
And they are hid in prison houses.
We hid up in prison houses, Doc. Brothers in prisons, Doc. And they said some of these brothers in here, later down, correct me if I'm wrong, but later down in the story, Doc, they said something that's amazing to me. And I pray, boy, I pray the Lord send us the resources we need, because they said some of these brothers in this prison have been in this prison for 4 and 5 years without a trial. Am I correct on that? 4 and 5 years without a trial. And the reason they don't have a trial, because they don't have the money for a lawyer. Their families destroyed or on drugs or God knows what. And so now they in this prison cell at the total mercy of the white man for 4 cents a day. So they ain't got no decent food, no decent blankets, no clothes, and they in this hellhole. And more importantly, they don't have a lawyer to even get them bail or some sense of, you know what I'm saying, to get them out of that prison 4 and 5 years with no trial. Go ahead, Saka.
Because I had family from down there in New Orleans.
Okay.
Brothers that came up north years ago, and they used to say how down there in New, cause I believe Angola is like the state prison of Louisiana. They say down in New Orleans, the police would lock jam you up. If they wanted to, you would go sit for 2 or 3 years, no trial, no indictment, nothing. You would just go sit down in Angola. They used to use it as a threat, like you just go sit down in Angola. If they used to call the police boss down there.
Right.
If the boss was upset with you, or if you got on his wrong side, that's how they would do you down there in Louisiana.
Imagine that. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on down there. And imagine that. Let me tell you something. White people, boy, they got a rough day coming. Because imagine, the Lord give them power to totally destroy your life, even if it's just for a bad day. If a cop wake up and he just have a bad day down there, or he just have, he get in a fight with his woman, he get to fully take out his anger on you and totally destroy your life. He allowed to do it. And with that amount of power, you would think he would be so merciful knowing the power that he had. But instead, he is a cruel and brutal beast, knowing that he has so much power over black people and Latino people's lives. And that's what the Egyptians had. And they had so much of it that it provoked Moses to come out of such a powerful position to come down and look at the condition that these brothers and sisters is looking at. And let me tell you something, man. Every black leader, meaning this would make you a black leader. You got a voice in the black community, you automatically a black leader, even if you an asshole like Kanye West. You understand? You still in that position as a so-called black leader. You ain't really leading black people because you too goddamn dumb to lead black people. But you in the position of a black leader. You better do what Moses did. You better examine what's happening to your people. And you better start making moves in the right direction to fix this situation. Because brothers and sisters is dying and being wiped out that don't deserve it. That don't deserve the mark of the punishment they receiving. You understand? And this cruel beast doesn't have the wherewithal to say to himself, we have so much power over them, we need to be merciful and try to get them in the... Instead, he's more venomous and hateful. He more wants to wipe you out. He more wants to punish you. He more wants to brutalize you. More than ever. You understand? I find white people, I'm sitting in my car driving, listening to music. I find white people looking at me like I shouldn't be jamming in the car with the music. They be looking like a Negro is too goddamn happy to be jamming. They don't know I'm happy because I done cursed you out about an hour ago, nigga. You understand? But they looking like you too goddamn happy. You should be suffering and your head down. And let me tell you something about God going to do horrible things in this earth because of it. So, Lockie, let's go on. What you holding, Shapar?
I'm still under the verse when we finish.
Finish that right quick.
Therefore he prayed, and none delivereth.
Right.
They spoil, and none saith restore.
Right. They for pray, and none delivereth. You understand? For a spoil, and none say restore. We're going to return back to the Lord. That's why it's so important to come back to your law, statutes, and commandments, and to come back to the Most High and to follow what the Lord said, because that is how you get up out of here. That's how you fix this. You holding the other one?
Yeah.
Go ahead, read it right quick, and then we going back to
Leviticus 20 and 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and am severed you.
You hear that? For you to be holy, the Lord got to sever you. Go ahead.
From other people.
And that's why don't nobody want to deal with the Bible. That's why we unpopular. That's why Christ was so hated. He was so hated because in an evil, wicked world, I fully now understand and have for some time why the Lord said he ain't of this world. He ain't part of this world. Because if you are a real person, How could you be part of a world seeing clearly how much destruction is being done to your people? Right. You can't be part of this world. You can only be part of this world if you like Oprah Winfrey and turn your back on your people. Then you could be part of this world because you starting to be in this world and not in the world of the Lord. They all think in church that they serving God and they not in the world when they are the world of this place. When how you come out that world is by following these scriptures, which ain't popular in this world. It ain't popular in this world to say, as a holy people, we are to separate from them. Meanwhile, don't nobody charge the so-called white Jew for doing exactly what that scripture said. That white Jew separates himself from everybody else and calls them the Goyim. And don't nobody charge him for it. But if you do it, you gonna be charged for it and considered a racist. And you know why? Because you don't understand that spiritually you are the lost tribes of Israel. You could never be part of this world. Right. Them preachers and black leaders could try as hard as they want. They will never, ever, 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 ever marry us to this world. It is impossible to do because spiritually we could never mesh. Any other nation could do it. Any nation wake up tomorrow and say they the chosen people and they're to be separate from other people, all nations would love and respect them like they love that white Jew. But if you do it, oh hell no. You do it, it's a problem, which tells you you are not part of this world. You are not part of this empire. You are not part of this wicked place. You are the lost 12 tribes, and the Most High is coming to get you back. Yeah, and thanks be to the Lord, he coming to get us back. You understand? So that's it. Salaki, you got the look. That's it on that? Okay, I'm off it. Where we going next, General?
A black teen rower says white teens called her Rosa Parks and the N-word after the competition.
Once again, like I brought out earlier, get ready for sincere, serious uncomfortability. And guess who's going to get the brunt of it? Those of you who have gone all up in white tea. Those of you that went all up into the white tea bleach world of whitiness. You about to catch it the worst. Because you're going to be right up in there. Listen, we brought the story out 2 weeks ago on how on college campuses. Remember, General? Oh. They in college campuses making the pledges say, I'll never like a nigga. Remember that? Now, these is the future bosses. They're going to come out them Ivy League schools, running companies, being managers. They're going to remember they oath. Ain't no black fraternity making you have no oath. I'm going to always do the white man in. I want to see that, some of that with that stepping, you know what I mean, that they be doing. You don't hear none of that. But the white fraternities, they got to stop them every damn week from doing that. Go ahead.
My Asia says that after a Mother's Day rowing competition, she had to sit on a separate jitney from her teammates because theirs were full. When she got on the jitney, she says 2 members of the mainland regional high school team sat next to her and called her Rosa Parks before using the N-word. She said that was the most unforgettable few moments of my life.
And see, that's the problem. Why was it unforgettable? Why all this stuff happening to black people is unforgettable? I'll tell you why. Because she's living in whitey world. Yeah. She's living in whitey world. So, of course, it seemed like, what is going on? You about to find out what's going on. You about to find out that them little white kids that you thought loved you so much and thought you were such a novelty, you are hated by them. You are hated by them. Go ahead.
Her mother said that she wanted a face-to-face apology with an adult.
See that? Like, and that's another That's another thing. You still acting like white people should rectify the situation. Get it straight. You under attack, black people. You under full-out attack by them. And you better circle the wagons, man, and look over and watch over your own. Go ahead.
At that time, I just wanted my daughter to feel comfortable. It could have possibly been settled here. They never, but we waited an hour and a half for them to come and they never came.
So that's it on that. Sorry, rowing ain't for niggas. Moving on. Go ahead. Not in their world anyway. You know what I mean? And let me tell you something, if I could. America would be better. The white man's a beast, and he's a war nation. The Lord said He was going to send us against a nation, you know, that was like the eagle, that was cruel, a real war nation. That's what they are, and they would be happier if you competed against them. They so sick of you with your sappy Christian garbage joining them. They would be happy if you had the black rowing team kicking their white ass. Because then the coach could be an animal on his own. You let the niggers beat you, God damn it! Right. He would be happy. Instead, he got no competition. They would love nothing more than the black football team come out there and kick their ass in the white football team. Yeah. They would love it. Because they would have something to strive for. But instead, all they got to strive for is to run the restaurant and you come in, sorry I'm late, I had to do something. Some sappy weakness on you. They sick of it, man. Stand up and fix your nation and get into the race. Because all the other races are in the race. You the one on the sideline trying to love everybody, man. Go ahead, Al.
White woman calls security on suspicious man with the baby.
Look, this is a good one too. Come on with it, gentlemen. I'm hoping I can get to more. Come on, I'm gonna get to the queen in a second. Go ahead. I can take this back too, right? Come on, go ahead.
A black father was pushing his son in a Washington, D.C. park, and a white woman saw fit to notify park security about a suspicious man walking the bike path with a baby.
Imagine that. You walking the bike path with your baby, you about to get pulled over by the police. Go ahead.
The man is a professional lawyer because to some folks, but to some folks, he will always be the scary black guy.
Right. He's a lawyer out there with his kids, got money, which is once again why black people with money, you should be moving in the hood. You should be buying a whole city block of houses, tearing them down and redeveloping them, and moving into the hood and getting your own. I'm gonna be in the hood like Nino Brown on you Negroes. I'm gonna be in the hood. I'm gonna have brothers on security. They're gonna be like, yo, what's up? Yeah, that's Gen.YAHANNA house, man. You know, security gonna be tight in the middle of the hood. And guess what? It's gonna change the hood. Ain't gonna be no drive-bys. Ain't gonna be no shootings. Nobody gonna have to call the police. You ain't gonna have to go to a bank for no loan. We be right there. You ain't gonna have to go to Esau for a job because I'll open up businesses all up down the block. Like if rich black people did that, we would have 1,000% less problems than we got right now. You gonna say something? Come on with it.
What Commander General Yohanna is bringing out is so heavy in that the worst thing that ever happened for black people is that rich black people were accepted by white people. That's the worst thing that ever happened.
That's so right.
In the 1930s, Jack Johnson, C.J. Walker, what's the one, the jazz singer woman with the bananas all on it?
Josephine Baker.
Josephine Baker. They were all accepted by white people.
That's right.
And white people accepted them. White people had sex with them.
That's right.
White people allowed them to drink with them and to party with them, and to live with them. And the civil rights movement came from that. Because black people began to see how glorious it was to be with white people. To drink with them, to have sex with them, to shop in their restaurant, to shop in their stores, eat in their restaurants, but they had to come in the back door. They had to leave out the back door. They couldn't be treated well by the masses of white people, but there were some white people that loved them, and that caused them to fight to get into white society. And we received integration for that. The best thing for black people is for rich white people to be rejected by white people.
Rich black people to be rejected by white people.
So like rich black people to be rejected by white people. If that happens, those of us who have the means to buy neighborhoods, to buy factories, to buy industries in the black community, they will have no choice but to come home.
Wow.
They'll have no choice but to come home. Because once again, so many of us who have wealth and have means, they also are corrupt in their mind and they're immoral. They're the rich men that Christ spoke against.
They're Kanye West.
They're Kanye West. So they have to be pushed out of white society. And if they're pushed out of white society, they'll come home.
Damn right, give it up. And let me tell you something. That's so right. And what's so right about it is, like you said, they'll be pushed out of white society. And all this racism with Donald Trump is helping push it out, push them right where they need to be. Because, brother, then they're going to have a bargain. They're going to build, instead of building a $10 million mansion in some white neighborhood, they'll build a $10 million mansion in the hood. And once they build that $10 million mansion, they'll want, not only will they want their $10 million mansion taken care of, they're going to want everything around their $10 million mansion to look good too. So they're going to be pouring cash into that neighborhood, pouring cash into businesses. I know if I got a $10 million mansion in the middle of the hood and 2 blocks away is a strip of stores, I ain't going to want them stores to go out of business and to be abandoned and tore down. I'm going to be on top of it. And not only that, I'm not going to want trash all up and down the street. So when I see that trash, I'm going to be calling the sanitation department saying, my name is General Yohanna and I got a $10 million goddamn mansion here. You better get out there and get that goddamn trash up. Who the hell is trash doing down the block from my $10 million mansion? You better get that trash up. And that white man going to jump out his seat and get that trash up because he's going to know that because I got a $10 million mansion in the hood, I'll pick up the phone and call the mayor and say, Mr. Mayor, I'm over here on so-and-so street and there's trash all up and down the block where my $10 million mansion is at, where I'm paying taxes for. And the mayor going to call the head of sanitation who going to get his white boys out there to clean up that goddamn trash. And before you know it, the hood going to look spectacular. And then Mrs. Johnson, who been operating the fish fry on the corner for 30 years, whose son just went to jail and is on hard times and gonna need some cash, she gonna send her cousin Billy over, who washes my cars on Saturday, and Billy gonna say, General Yohanna, listen, man, Miss Johnson, you know she been there 30 years, man. You know what I'm saying? But her son got locked up. She had to get bail money for him, and the business is going down. And I'm gonna be like, what? Not Miss Johnson's fish fry. I ordered enough fish for the whole camp every week. Then she getting ready to close down. What she need? Miss Johnson's in need of X amount of dollars. Listen, call up the accountants, man. Miss Johnson can't go out of business, man. That fish she cook out is like manna from heaven. Take care of her. Right. And guess what? The hood will be a wonderful place. Right. The hood will be the bomb. You understand? Saturday morning, I'll get up in the morning, I can pull my cars out and wash them and shine them and bring them on the block and turn the music up and dare anybody to say something. And here's the beautiful part. All the other brothers in the hood gonna bring their cars out because they gonna want to roll with me because I got a $10 million mansion and I'm balling in the middle of the hood.
That's it.
That's how you fix the goddamn hood.
That's it.
This gotta stop by. We need right leadership. Soccer walk. We don't have right leadership. Ain't nobody teaching our black men and women that have wealth to go out and do the right thing. I heard Beyonce just went out and bought a church in New Orleans or somewhere. I could say I'm gonna wait, but you already know what it is. It's a bad idea, but it's probably an idea to get ready to corral Negroes into the Democratic vote. You can best believe those things will be worked on. So I said, I'm done on that. You holding anything else, Michelle? Shapana Pash? Captain? General, where we going next? You want to go to the school shooting?
Probably have to.
Okay.
Is it in the story?
I don't think it's in these stories though. I didn't see it. Anybody else see it?
We can pull it up.
I don't think it is. We can pull it up.
Do the wedding. Wedding or
I want definitely. We're going over, so I'm gonna do the wedding about 11:15. But there's a couple of other goodies up in here. The white woman that called a real estate investor.
You know, it might be good right now. Is the Edomite in the college? That's perfect.
Which
video.
one? Which one's the
Edomite
name?
that said it's harassment if you're sitting and waiting.
Can we find that? Somebody find that? Y'all want to take a quick break?
Go ahead.
Can we take a quick break, man? We come on back. Go into the rest of the stories. We going a little over the time. If you don't get to see it tonight, you'll see it on the tape. It'll be on ISUPK radio. But we going on. I got to get the stories out this time. Your partner Pot's going to get on my case, man. I don't get these stories done tonight. So let's get it on in, y'all. Live on the UPK. We'll be back in a moment, y'all. The one where the college, where the white woman told the college, if you sit down here, it's harassment. General, I don't think that's in the stories either. No, I'm good. I tell you what I could go for. Could I get a couple of more ice? A full cup of ice.
I got it right here. Kennesaw State. University student accused of harassment.
But I think they want to do this. These two first. They want to do the what's the two out? We back. I want to remind you to continue to pay your tithes, continue to support this truth. www.isupk.com. Go on the website, hit pay your tithes, support this truth, keep them ends flowing in so we can keep doing this amazing work that we're doing. Okay, check this out, y'all. Jose Arroyo walked into a Southern California gas station to buy Mentos on a Friday night in March and still can't shake off what happened next. After he paid for the mints and placed them in his left pocket, jacket pocket, an off-duty police officer behind him pulled out his handgun, pointed it at his feet, and accused him of stealing them. It made me angry, Arroyo said, 49, said on Monday. I felt this fear and thought of my wife. My wife might become a widow tonight. That's the terrorism that white people is doing. Like a cop pulling out his gun is not supposed to make you feel like you could be a widow. But why does it make you feel that way? Because they killing so many of us. So it make you feel that way. Okay? The night started when Mr. Arroyo, who was on his way to the club with his wife, pulled into a Chevron station in Bueno Park in Orange County, California. He got $60 out of the ATM, then remembered his wife had asked him for mints. Standing in front of the cashier, Arroyo scanned a row of candy bars, sweets, and gum before reaching for a roll of Mentos. How much are they? Mr. Arroyo asked the man behind the counter. The cashier told him that they were $1.19. Transaction on March 16, which was recorded by the gas station security camera, was entirely uneventful until the off-duty cop who works for the Bueno Park Police Department entered the store. He missed the part when Mr. Arroyo handed over $20 for the Mentos. He missed that part. Okay? He put that back, the officer said, as he lifted his sweatshirt and pulled a handgun from his waistband. Put it back, the police officer said. The store owner had to intervene and say he paid for them. He paid for them. That's how the incident stopped. He was so hungry to pull his goddamn gun out. Nah, we ain't got to go to it. He was so hungry to pull his gun out on the brother. And once again, this ain't universal. This is why brothers is ending up dead. Because a white man, he ain't going to pull that out on him. He ain't even going to suspect him of anything. And if he does, he's going to say, excuse me, sir, did you pay for those Mentos? And then he's going to get an answer, and it's going to be settled. But this brother, he said, put those back and pull the gun out like already he's a thief. Why? Because that's how they look at all the tribes. They starve the tribes to death. And then when the tribes find ways around them to survive, then they call them thieves and murderers, man. When everything that's happened to us is based on being in this empire. And it's just why we got to call on the Lord to be delivered. Come on with it. I'm done. Where we going next?
Shooting. You said you had another story about something.
No, we come back to it. We go to the shooting. Let's get the ran off the road. You want to do that first?
I'll probably do that now.
Let's do ran off the road one. That's another good one that came out. I'm gonna try to get back to the stories. Go ahead.
White supremacists. A black woman and her son were terrorized by a group of racist thugs who ran her vehicle off the road, yelled racial slurs, and then smashed the windows. They tried to run us off the road, saying, "You niggers, get the F out of our country." And we were like distraught.
Now, black people who got citizenship, they saying, "Get the hell out the country." And I guarantee you, they're going to start talking about taking away black people's citizenship. I can guarantee it. It's coming around the corner. Once again, we finding out that you were never part of this empire. That you were just a slave. You were just a slave, and that's all you were. And that's for sure all you'll ever be in a place that hates you so much, which is why you should call on the God of Israel. All these religions holding the Bible in their hand, Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, all holding the Bible in their hand, never realizing that the Bible is talking about the children of Israel and the God of the children of Israel, not some universal gay homosexual that loves everybody, but the God of Israel. So why not obey and do the will of the God of Israel if you want to be delivered? Go ahead, Al.
The truck cut them off, and 3 men and 2 women got out and started slamming the vehicle with a bat and frying pan.
Damn!
Smashing the windows and denting the car. They screamed racial obscenities as they terrorized Shem and her son.
And let me tell you something. They starting with the women, if you notice that. If you notice, most of the events and attacks is with the women because they still a little nervous about Jake. They know that Jake will flip on them in a minute. And so they're a little worried about him. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. So they really trying to target the sisters, which once again, all of this is the Lord allowing this to happen to bring you together. And it's a tragedy what happens to us in this, but it should draw us together. We should put value on us. We've been saying this for years. I told y'all back 30 years ago, we better put value in the wino in the gutter. Drunk in the gutter, we better put some value in that, brother. Go ahead, Salaki, you know, come on with it, y'all.
So they smashed the windows. They're screaming, "We are white supremacists, and niggers do not belong in their country." She then called 911. Then in a turn of events, the offenders who badgered Shem and her son reportedly called into the police and admitted they terrorized them.
Damn! You can stop right there. Called in and said, yes, we did terrorize them. Listen, that's how comfortable they feeling. And they may already know that the police are Klansmen. It's a tradition to become a police officer in the South if you a Klansman. It's tradition. It's tradition in the North to become a correction officer if you a Klans member. That's tradition. You go up in the prisons, them white boys got, that's the COs, the correction officers, got all kinds of white supremacist tattoos all over them. Meanwhile, the brothers is being shipped out of the cities into them prisons. Like, we got to wake the hell up, man. You've been living a nightmare and you don't even know it, man. You've been living a nightmare while some preacher been lying to you, telling you God is all love. While these people been being monsters on the face of this earth. You better wake up, man. Turn on conservative radio and see how white people is talking about you in the morning. You will be amazed. You will be amazed at how they talking about you. Go ahead, Doc. We moving on. Where we going next? So they terrorized that sister in her vehicle, man. Go ahead.
Going to the shooting?
Going to the shooting, General? Go ahead. Okay, did we ever find it in the stories? It may not be in there. It's big. I don't know. I just don't know if we got some.
10 people. 10 people.
10 little white people.
13 injured. 10.
You can go and run it. Go ahead and run it, Jim.
Students killed. I think it happened the day before yesterday. What state was it in?
Texas, sir.
Texas. Texas school shooting. I think it was a 17, 18-year-old boy started shooting everyone in the art class. Murdered 10 people and injured 13 people. He was arrested without incident. He's in jail right now. The story is, of course, very easy to find.
And let me tell you, can I add you?
Please, sir.
Please, I don't want to cut you off, Jim. Let me add something to the two. I don't understand white people. You should know that the Lord is in this. That God rules the world, and the world is not on a course of its own desire and conclusion. The world is on the course that the Lord set up. The things that he said would happen will happen. If you're wondering if God's will be done, all you have to do is read Deuteronomy 28:68, which tells you that we were put in slavery for disobeying the Lord, that we would end up here. But it also says what would happen after we had fulfilled that punishment. And here we are at the end of that punishment. How is it going to be handled? I'll tell you how, according to the Bible. The nations that have ruled over God's people are going to be destroyed. That's how it's going to be handled by God. And that's why everybody should be reading the Bible and seeing what it's talking about. Go ahead, Salakia. That's it. Oh, you got it. Go ahead.
10 killed in Santa Fe.
Oh, and Salakia, General. And I said it to say this. That God said this, the Most High Power, Yahweh, his words, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. If you put orange seeds in the ground, orange trees grow. If you put apple seeds in the ground, apple seeds grow. What you sow, that you reap. You sow slavery, you sow poverty, you sow destruction, rape, rob, murder, pillage, racism, guess what? You reap it when the time the Lord comes to end the captivity of the slaves. Then you reap that. And brother, America and all the nations on this earth are about to reap the Lord's wrath. What you sow, you reap. So, Salakia, this incident, again in this school, is proof positive that you can't go out killing the Lord's people and not expect the Lord to answer you. Don't you know you'll get answered by the Most High? You might not even believe in the Lord, but He will answer you anyway. I'm done with that. Go ahead.
A 17-year-old student dressed in a trench coat and armed with a shotgun and a revolver barged inside a classroom at a Southeast Texas high school and opened fire, killing at least 10 people and terrorizing hundreds more. 2 teachers and 8 students were killed in the shooting. If I could, General, I'm sorry, General. I know I've been. They done told me I'm always cutting y'all off. So let me tell you one little thing. And listen, you talk that gun control crap if you want to. These little white monsters is the scariest little beast on the face of this earth. You hear me? You take away them AR-15s if you want to, and something will fly into your toilet bowl that will kill everybody in the goddamn neighborhood. Because these little monsters will sit around in their house with them video games out. And I mean, they be in that house with them video games. They said it's the #1 thing on YouTube, them goddamn video games. And you telling me they ain't breeding the next generation of monster killers in them goddamn video games? You bet them. You must be kidding me. Let me tell you something now. Take away them AR-15s. I dare you. I dare you to take away them AR-15s. Them little monsters will create something 10 times worse. In their garage. They had one little white boy that created a nuclear reactor in his basement. Y'all heard about him? You can look him up on YouTube, brother. He in his garage, he created a nuclear reactor, a small one, nuclear reactor in his goddamn garage. I said the white man is the devil, the Bible speaks of.
And the one with the drone that shoots a gun.
Oh my God. The drone come up in the sky, got a full-fledged machine gun on it. It's shooting so hard, the drone moving. I said, this is a beast here. Like, he think up an invention of evil like you ain't never seen. Come on, Soccer Wolf.
Because it might come out later in the story, but this guy had pipe bombs in the school and everything.
Come on, man. Pipe bombs in the school.
How about the motive? Is there any motive in the story?
Yeah, he said that he was mad at some of them students and said he did not kill the ones that he liked. Only the ones he didn't like. So this ain't goddamn, this ain't molestation. This ain't drug deals or drug addiction. This ain't, you know, growing up in the hood in poverty. This ain't nothing. This is he mad today. So he shoot up everybody in the goddamn school. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
I don't know if you was going to bring that up. The one little white girl, he was cracking on her. And she told her mom, he was pushing on me kind of hard. And finally, she got fed up, stood up, and embarrassed him.
Damn!
In front of everybody.
You can't do that to them.
And she was one that got killed. Her mom.
Oh!
That's why she got killed. She told me days before she stood up to him and embarrassed him.
Come on, Soccer. Well, come on. Big up to Jeremiah.
They said that girl got more bullets than some of the other ones.
What?
She got extra shot up. Mother was like, I know it's because she turned them down.
Now listen, if a black person do something like that, it don't never be, well, she rejected him. Right. You understand what I'm saying? He's an animal, he's crazy, he had no reason to do it, but the white boy do it and it's like, well, she did reject him and embarrass him before the class. So she should have gave him some of that ass. She ain't had but about that much of it. She should have went on and gave it to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got compassion on their murderers. But when it come to us, we wild animals, we wild beasts, we this, we that. It's ridiculous, man. The way they move against us. Good night. So it was he just mad. He just ain't getting no pussy and got mad. So like, that's all that was. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And I see something in the thing too. I see something in it. Part of this, see, y'all gotta stop messing with them white girls out there. Cause that's a big part of this out here. You understand?
Yes.
You come up to the white girl talking about, hi, my name is Bobby, I play video games. And then the brother come up like Suave Bola on her ass. You know what I mean? The basketball star, full of physique, 13 inches of rod. Everything this white girl ever dreamed of, here he is, talking about, yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying? You want to chill? What's up? Before you know it, the white girl turned into ice cream on you. Vanilla flavor. And before you know it, he done got your girl and gone. And the white boy sitting up there mad. But he got the AR-15 in the house. You understand? So he coming to smoke everybody in the goddamn school. Leave his little flat behind white girl alone. Come on, Solid Wall. Come on. Come on.
And, okay, the white boys that don't end up shooting up a school, they the ones that grow up to be the Harvey Weinsteins or the cats pulling their rod out the job. The women, you know,
raping
and molesting. Yeah. They don't never get over it. They just grow into power to where they can just rape you.
They just continue on with how they was there. Damn. You understand? Go ahead, General. Please.
If I could give a brief history lesson.
Come on.
To explain why you cannot stop white school shooters. Back of course in 1776, George Washington fought a rebellion against England over taxation without representation. Unjust taxes. And he got 17-year-old boys to pick up guns and to fight because they were unjustly being taxed. Now, in 1790, when George Washington was president, there was something called the Whiskey Rebellion. The Whiskey Rebellion was people who sold rum. George Washington put a tax on rum. That the people who sold rum said, this is an unjust tax. We're being taxed for nothing. There's no reason for this tax. They went and they rebelled against George Washington in America. They picked up guns. They said, we're not paying this whiskey tax. George Washington took an army down to Kentucky, where they make Kentucky bourbon, killed thousands of them. And he said, you're not going to do to me what we did to England.
Damn.
He said that. Now, here's what people don't understand about school shooters. School shooters are what built America.
Right.
Like this, a 17-year-old white boy who is not taking it is how America was built. That's how they won World War II. They won it with him. A 17-year-old white boy that says, I'm not being embarrassed. I don't care about the repercussions. I'm brave. I have courage. I don't care if I risk my life. I've suffered an insult, and I'm not going to be insulted. They won World War I and World War II with him. You can't shut him off. That is how they won America. That's how the empire was built. Because 17-year-old white boys were willing to die for what they believed in. And you can't cut it off now that you won. Now that you're the oppressor, you're the empire, you're the one in charge, 17-year-old boys will say, I shouldn't be embarrassed in school. I shouldn't have to suffer being bullied. I shouldn't have to go through this. I'm an American. I'm an American. I should be able to fight for what's right. Fight for my beliefs. Fight so that I am never made to feel small. They won this country with that, but you can't shut it off after you've won. Salaki, sir.
Yeah, good. All right, so that's it on that, or we got more?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was something because, boy, oh boy, all the killing that's happened to us and they had, what's the name of that little rat they had up on the Billboard Awards? That started crying on the Billboard Awards this week. Kelly, what's her name?
Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson. She went up on the Billboard Awards and was crying over the Texas shooting, crying over the kids. Let's do something. Let's have some action. Let's do something. Let me tell you something. When you see that, you should see that she's got compassion for them white kids that's killed in that school. But nobody has compassion for the black kids that's being killed by the police, killed in school, killed by everybody. Nobody has compassion for them. But they got all the compassion in the world for them little 10 white kids that got killed in that school in Texas. They're going to cry on stage for them. You going to say something, General?
I forget it. Can't think of who it is. Somebody volunteered to pay for all of their funerals.
Yeah, some white boy. Right. Who is he?
Football.
Who is he? A football player? Now imagine that. Imagine that. Now, I ain't never seen no white people offer to pay for the funeral of black kids getting killed. But they sure ready to offer to pay for the funeral of white kids. And something else, too. You probably seen these signs all, I don't know if they in the hood, but all up in white people's area, they got signs on their lawn saying, we support the police department. Y'all seen them, right? Them signs is propaganda, brother, to allow the cops to kill us. Anybody saying they support the cops who's killing us is saying, we want you to wipe them niggas out. That's the point. The point is, don't worry about it. You kill a nigga up here and go to court, we gonna support you. We gonna be on the jury, and guess what? You're gonna be found not guilty. That's why them cops don't never get into no trouble for the things that they do. Because they got white people sitting on the jury. And no matter if they got it on videotape, white people come back and say, it looked like it was justified to me. And they let him go free. That's it on that, General? So let's move on. What we get next? Let's do the long live the bitch. Let's go there.
That's right.
Let me tell you something about that wedding now. That wedding, first of all, let me tell you what was so evil just off of the top of that wedding. What was so evil off of the top of that wedding was the fact that black people, they had Oprah Winfrey's girlfriend, what's her name? Gail. They had her up there, right. They had her up there, all these black pundits up there talking about this wedding. The wedding with Megan, the wedding with Megan. The wedding with Megan was an abomination before the Lord. Right. Because number one, this is a good teaching lesson on why the hell we should never marry other nations. Because this sister went and married a devil and brought forth a devil with a little shade of brown on the devil. A little shaded devil. And that shade and that shaded devil went up in there and married the Prince of Sussex. And because she married the Prince of Sussex, black people in their dumb ignorance believed that they had accomplished joining the royal family. When that's a devil. Need a mic. And they think that now we've made it. All these black faces at the wedding, sitting up there like black people did something amazing. And here's what's so bad about it. This blinds you to the truth of what you and your people are suffering. This tells you a lie that after all the murder and mayhem that was done by the British Empire, this tells you that it was all worth it. Because in the end of the day, they were just trying to bring the world together in peace. And here's the proof. Because now they married a woman from the very people they slaughtered to get all their riches and their wealth. That is brainwashing that'll happen to you. And if I could, I mean, this Edomite, who they all consider black, her mama, God have mercy on that sister there. That sister married the worst trailer trash in all of God's history. If you had a black man on crack 30 years, in the gutter, in the shelter for 20, and finds out that his daughter is marrying the Prince of Sussex, that nigga gonna take a shower, have a shot of liquor. He gonna stay off the crack for 3 days, and he gonna bring his raggedy ass on that plane over to the damn wedding to walk his daughter down the aisle. But these Edomites that this sister married, this sister's an intelligent sister too. She works, she got a high-level position with a psychiatric facility. The day after the wedding, she put in her notice of resignation. She ain't working no more because now her daughter is married to the Prince of Sussex, which got more money than you can count. So she knows she's straight for life. And of course, black people looking at it like it was a great come up. Black people looking at it like it was so wonderful they got to walk in Buckingham Palace. And what was the name of that church? The Abbey, the something of the Abbey. Go ahead, Al.
Westminster Abbey.
The Westminster Abbey. Like the West, I mean, let me tell you something, Mark. And here's what's so messed up about it. They stole our legacy, and they rocking our legacy the way we would. The reason he's called the Prince of Sussex is because the House of Sussex is a house and a family who gained prominence in Britain at a time in the past and who was given land. That land today has become whole cities. Them cities is populated with relatives of that family. And that family is unified in their power and in their wealth, just like it was in the days of King David. The father of the boy is the Duke of Windsor. Windsor is another house of Edomites that stole our identity and is powerful in there. Where you see them walking with that horse and carriage, that whole city is their people, their relatives, their family, and other people that moved to the city. That's what the Lord is telling us he's going to do with us. When Christ come and give us them crowns, we're going to be the Duke of this, not dukes, because we don't have dukes like the Edomites. Dukes come from them. But we're going to be the princes of so-and-so, the princes of such and such. And they act like we live in a pipe dream when we trying to live the same dream they live. We're trying to have our empire like they got theirs. All them coats of arms. Did you see the coats of arms on the ceiling? Them flags, they had about 1,000 flags across the ceiling for all the coats of arms. That means those was men who fought for their empire and was given a title with the empire and a flag with their title and is honored in them halls. When he walk in with his title, you walk in with his coat of arms, brother, he's recognized by that coat of arms. The same way the Lord raised us up with ranks in here and positions in here. We just doing it in poverty. We doing it in poverty. We wearing the shield around our neck. They wearing the brand chains of the houses they belong to in that thing. You understand? And they a military monarchy. You see the boy was married in a military uniform. That's a military uniform he had on. Because why? They a monarchy. And all of this is copied from the Lord's kingdom. All this is copied because it was us who was ruling this empire that they stole it from, that they took all the traditions from, that they stole all of the ways that they do stuff. Go ahead,
Even the Windsor Castle, they had the actual wedding. It was started after the Norman Conquest. You know, William the Conqueror set it up. William the Conqueror, I believe, is a male paternal descendant of King James himself.
Exactly. So that means that was a Negro that set that castle up, and they sitting up in there with all our gold and diamonds. They said that the queen got a chair with a crown sitting under the chair that they claim is King David's crown, sitting under the goddamn chair. Okay, like she's sitting on David's crown, like I rule over David's kingdom. Okay, and you can look that up online. And so what's sad about it is here's a devil who is brainwashing black people into thinking they now done did something great in this world. But meanwhile, nobody thinking about them Benjamites and Levites living in them goddamn shacks that's down there. Nobody thinking about all that they did to walk in Windsor Castle. That queen came out, brother. They had 3 Rolls Royces. Did you see them Rolls Royces? She had 3 Rolls Royces sitting out front when she came out. Walked out, stepped in her Rolls, and 2 other Rolls Royces with her. They was horse-drawn carriages and storybook weddings that come from us. Our wives is supposed to have them storybook weddings, not them. And certainly it ain't supposed to be financed by the murder of the Lord's chosen people. But meanwhile, all them black women was up there. She did so well, and this and that in the family. And I was so glad it wasn't the black half of the family that was doing all the niggerism. Because that white family is niggers. That's a white nigger family. Say again? Meaning the way they operated. I'm gonna break it down for you. I got the list right here. Let me show you some real niggas. You think you niggas? You ain't a nigga, okay? These is niggas. First of all, you know the daddy never showed. Okay? Listen to what they said. They said when the public found out bad boy Prince Harry was in love with a biracial American woman, there was a big fuss made about what it would mean to have her and her black relatives in Kensington Palace, rubbing elbows with the Queen. With the Queen. You understand? But it turns out the joke was on them. As the last few months have very clearly demonstrated, it is the white side of Merkel's family that has the problem. Check this out. Okay, let's run it down. First of all, her sister wrote a book out. After he engaged her, her sister, a white devil, who looked at her and can't stand to show you these white people hate each other, their own family. She wrote a book out called Pushy Princess. She about to publish the book talking nothing but trash about her so-called sister. I mean, trashing. She about to go in the public eye and marry the Prince of Sussex, and meanwhile her sister's trashing. And this is another thing. This much, okay, and this is what makes it even worse. See, she gravitated to her mother's side of the family, when the rest of the Edomites gravitated to the Edomite side of the family. She went on to Hollywood to become an actress, and them lowlifes end up in the ghetto where their drunk-ass daddy was at, fronting like he wasn't going to walk her down the aisle. And so it made them hate her. So the sister wrote the book. Then, after the sister wrote the book, talk about some ghetto shit, then her ex-husband, you know she was married before, her ex-husband went and pitched a TV pilot about her life and all her business to the news networks, trying to get himself a TV show. This is a grubby bunch of low-life crackers. And once again, you sisters go out there and you get some bum. Let me tell you something. The majority of the reason that white men, those white men that marry black women, is for, this is the reason. Let me tell you the reason. The reason them white men be marrying them black women, is a lot of the reason be because them white men are lazy. And them shiftless, lazy bastards know that they can't marry no white woman and sit their ass home smoking crack, because the bitch gonna go crazy and leave them. So they find some black woman who's compassionate, and they use her, and then they be a bum on her. While you blaming black men for this, half of the white men these black women is getting, with these black women got big degrees, getting these white men, and they taking care of these bums. This white guy is a goddamn bum. Didn't even show up for the goddamn wedding. Your daughter getting married is the Prince of Sussex. You sitting up there 300 pounds and drunk and can't get your ass up off the couch to go handle your goddamn business. Meanwhile, they blaming black people like we lazy, like black men is lazy. So the ex-husband, being old And once again, they always think we looking for the money. This lowlife goes and grubs up as much deals as he could try and find to get himself set up. Then her cousin, who's a drug dealer, basically, he goes and comes up with a combination of marijuana in her honor. He done got him a Merkel weed for the weed head.
The white.
All this is white. All this is white. Listen, it sounds like it might be a nigger, but it's not. These are all crackers that did this. That's part of her family, which is, once again, you ain't getting a catch when you get them white boys. And let me tell you something. Serena Williams and a few of them other black celebrities that was at that wedding, you could see the look on their face like they was full of jealousy. Right. They realized they had a white bum too. Right. Meanwhile, she was marrying the Prince of Sussex, and they was marrying the Prince of White Trailer Trash. And so they was mad as hell and jealous of her, but she married him because really she's an Edomite. Right. And they got all our records. They know she's an Edomite. Right. They ain't even thinking about it. So he went out and made him a strain of weed in her honor to sell, just like a ghetto rat. And then again, of course, you know her father refused to walk her down the aisle. He refused to show up. And listen, and here's what's so messed up. They said that the monarchy tried to convince him and help him. Went to him and tried to get him to, tried to give him money for plane tickets and get him some clothes, trying to clean his ass up to show up for the wedding. He still didn't show up. You understand? And then another one of her half-brothers from the white side, these are all, and here's the thing, this sister married this bum with all these white kids. You understand? And took care of him and dealt with him and paid for him, and he was a lowlife. And so was the rest of them. Her half-brother wrote the prince a letter telling the prince, please do not marry my sister. You don't know her. She ain't a nice person. She's an evil person. Don't marry her. Tried to break the wedding off. Meanwhile, she about to marry the Prince of Sussex. We'll show you how these devils are. They got their families ain't together, and they got the whole goddamn world. And their families ain't even together. I'm going to finish it up. Got two more and I'm done. And we out of here. Okay? Then the family, listen, the family wasn't even, there was a limited amount of people to come down to the wedding. The family all packed their shit up and got on the plane after all of that and showed up at the airport in Great Britain looking to try to muscle their way into the goddamn wedding and still could not get in. And then, of course, they had the black preacher up there poisoning everybody with love. Meanwhile, the British Empire is one of the evilest empires in the world. They got a saying, had a saying, I don't know if they still had it, but they had a saying saying the sun never sets on British Isles. And people hear that saying all the time and don't know what that means. That's a very evil saying, because what they're saying is that they have conquered so much land that there is no time in the world that the sun is set on all of their land. Meaning the sun go down here, wherever the sun is shining at, they got some land. Sun go down over here, wherever there's the sun is shining over here, there's some land that they rule. So meaning the sun don't never set on the land that they done conquered. That's how much land and power they conquered, which is an evil saying. Go ahead, Al.
So I believe the Queen of England is the single largest landowner on the planet.
The single largest landowner on the planet. That evil bitch. Sitting up in there, mean stone face, ruling with all power and ability. And meanwhile, they looking at it like it's one. That monarchy is probably responsible for half the poverty on the earth. You know what I mean? They probably, just like the French. They love the French, the French, the French. The French don't never lay it out how evil they are to them countries that they getting that cocoa from for all that French chocolate. All them Cadbury bars and all that old French chocolate they always talking about. They ain't talking about how much slavery they putting the nations in for that. All these nations are doing this. The so-called Jew does it with the diamonds. French do it with the chocolate. The British do it with land. America do it with technology. They all steal the other nation's resources and make it to them. Hershey's. Everybody, Hershey's. All these Hershey bars and Hershey products. Hershey getting chocolate out from third world countries that they starving to death. And dare them third world countries ever say, we going to nationalize our cocoa for ourselves so that we can make the profits off of this cocoa and build our nation. You'll see an invasion from America if they ever do that. You understand? So the family crashed the airport, and then the sister turned around, and the same one that wrote the book turned around and transformed her look to try and look like Megan so that she could turn around and get into the damn wedding. Talk about ghetto fabulous white people. That's who the hell these devils are that went up in there. And black people should not, we're going to be so poisoned by it, thinking that we going somewhere in this world when we only going to go where we're supposed to go with the Lord by ourselves and away from everybody else. Can I get up off it? I want to let everybody know to make sure you pay your tithes. Make sure you support the truth. Give me a thumbs up and like my thing and subscribe to our websites, all right? So our pages. I'll see y'all next time live on the UPK, y'all. Shalom. Shalom.